one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. This gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
When did winning not become the main thing? I always say keep the main thing, where, you know, winning is the only thing that truly matters.
Let me be very clear. I'll never give up. Never.
Merry mother effing Christmas, fellas. Merry Christmas, bro. I hope today is the day for you guys, man. I really hope today is the day. It's funny that we should talk about Christmas to kick off the show because I do appreciate everybody for being here. But I gotta cut to the chase real quick because it could be a long episode, but I do want to get this story out. So it's Christmas Eve. You know, we ordered a whole bunch of pizza, me and my cousin, for the family. And we playing a lot of different games. So we played basically a beer pong game, and I was just slicing through the comp. This is my problem with this beer pong game, bro. So a lot of people cheated to make shots, right? I'm the only one who made legit shots because I'm a sniper out there. I made my very first shot. That's what was so cold because my cousin was talking a bunch of nonsense in my ear, and I'm like, bro, Kobe and Curry, my favorite players, so I already know I'm gonna hit this first one, and I hit it dead smack in the middle, just like, bro. I won a Kool-Aid jammer, so it was a gag gift, and I won the fucking gag gift. I gave it to my little cousin. Everybody else won like king size candy bars. My cousin won a Walmart gift card. None of these motherfuckers hit real shots. Some of them like got to land on top of like these buckets that was like. It was a bunch of nonsense, bro. But eventually we ended up playing this other game where you roll. We saw on TikTok where you roll the soda to the lane. Boy, I lost at that shit so many times. And I wasn't even winning prizes for myself. Like every prize I was winning, I gave to somebody else, except for the first prize. The first prize, I got to pick my prize, and it was like this pack full of these fire ass pens. And I love pens, bro. I know that sound crazy. But y'all got to understand the gifts wasn't that out of this world. Well, I mean, there was a lot of gifts in there. People would have took over the pens. Like it was a whole bunch of like king size candy bars and stuff in that too. But I ain't want none of that. Mind you, at the end of the night, all my siblings and family members just was taking the gifts anyways. Like they didn't even win them. They just was taking them. This is what I'm saying, bro. It was no true competitiveness or sports integrity on the night. And that really bothered me. Like, I got really irritated. And especially came out in this last game we played called Trolley or something like that. I don't know if y'all ever seen this thing on YouTube where it's like the little stick figure cartoon thing where they do a bunch of wild shit. Well, my cousin bought like this game, and it's hard to really explain. Like, you put two people on a train track. So both teams pull a card. The situation you put on a train track, the conductor decide which he want to hit, and you trying to convince. It's like a debate game. Here's my problem. This game is not going to be played to its fullest potential if you got a family like my family. So, for one, my mom was the first conductor. That bothered me because the situations was either you put one team got to put a family member, your favorite sibling, on the track. Coincidentally, my mom's sister, was on the opposing team. But that didn't bother me because on the track for ours was you had a $20 billion lottery ticket or a $20 million lottery ticket. So you had to argue against which point, like, who would you run over? And we didn't even use the other cars at the moment. But see, from the rip, before the game even started, I said, we going to lose. It's not going to be fair because I know what my mama going to pick already. Because my mama is a hardcore Christian. She is not killing nobody. I don't care if you said she put a random ass stranger on the track. She not killing them. It don't matter what we could have said to convince her. This is what made me even matter. When she made her decision, she clearly wanted to pick the 20 million. She said a whole bunch of stuff that was like she wanted the 20 million. But at the end of the day, she said exactly what I knew she was going to say. I can't kill nobody. It's just not in G. And the other team won. The other team didn't make no good debates. See, I'm competitive, bro. So every game I'm going to find how can this game be competitive and have a skill gap. The skill gap should be how great of a debater you are to convince somebody. It's not fair when you don't have to be a great debater because you could just play off of the off of the conductor's real life feelings. Like, you got to be able, if you can't be convinced, that's the problem. It's certain conductors who cannot be moved off of certain type of things. So it's a lose-lose for certain teams. That's not fair. You got to have a conductor who legitimately going to think about both arguments being made. One team can't make a bunch of dumbass arguments just because she like, you going to run over your sister. That's a terrible, or that's not fair when you, for one, really her sister shouldn't even been in the game, but we didn't have enough people. But on top of that, plus my aunt played all these games with us, so it was going to happen regardless. But then on the second one, my sister was the conductor. And me and my team we put down a hospital full of kids. The hospital was on fire, and it's a whole bunch of kids, a children's hospital. They rescuing a children's hospital full of kids that's on fire. That's on the train track. On the other train track was Steve Irwin, who we found out wasn't really dead. Now, the first debate I said was, it would make no sense. I didn't even bring the kids into it. I'm like, bro, for one, you thought Steve Irwin was dead for the last 10 years. What would be the difference if you knew he was dead now? What in your life would change if you, for the last 10 plus years you thought he was dead, and now you know for a fact he is dead? What would change? That was my debate. My cousins and them debate, or the opposing teams, they debate for saving them was, you don't care about them children. Like, bro, that is a terrible debate. You cannot. And you want to know why they won? Because my sister don't like kids. Now, I could have said my sister's best friend just had a child, and I could have been like, well, you know, you could, if that was your best friend thing. But I was trying to play the game without using real life connections, because that's cheating. I literally had just said in the previous round, y'all used a real life connection, even though my mama wouldn't have killed nobody regardless. So she the worst person to have is the conductor. But to use a real life connection is cheating. You got to be able to debate without using that, in my opinion. Now, maybe some people would like to use the real life stuff and try to sway people in that way. But to me, that is cheating based off, because you might have a scenario where you can do that, and the other person might have one where they can't. So to me, that's not fair. I'm thinking about how I would think if the whole thing was played out fair. And it's like I told my family, when I compete in something that's competitive, I want the rules to be the same for everybody in the fucking competition. So if I win, I want it fair and square. And if I lose, I lost it fair and square. We also played another game where we put on a blindfold and they put a bunch of ribbons on the table and we had a bowl and a spoon. I crushed them at that. My cousin then tried to cheat because I ended up getting 12, 11 or 12. I didn't even think I was doing that good. My sister said, "You doing actually great." And I didn't believe her. But I took off my thing and started counting them bad boys. She was right. I killed the competition. Just to let y'all know, I won every single game. That was a game that could not be determined by like outside influences, even though they was trying to cheat in every game. Except for when we got to this trolley game, because my sister let them win because she said, "I don't like kids, so fuck them kids." And I was like, bro, this is what I'm saying. You cannot be like, if you somebody who don't like kids, you can't have kid scenarios and instantly every time you see a kid scenario, it's like, "Oh, fuck them kids. I don't like kids. I'm killing." That's not how a conductor's supposed to play. So when I became the conductor, I was a legit. Now I know some people might be hearing this like, "Oh, man, he just said no, bro." I'm being dead ass serious with you, bro. I literally got pissed off because I was like, "Yo, y'all not playing this game to the fullest of its potential. Like y'all letting easy influences and biases ruin the game for the other." How you gonna let us argue for like 3 minutes and nothing we said mattered because at the end of the day, you don't like kids? That's nuts. And then some people would have been like, "Well, Saint, you should have used her best friend's child." Then it would have been unfair to the Steve Irwin thing, because what could they have possibly said to have made Steve Irwin be saved now over me using her real life, like that's not fair. So, bro, nonetheless, we spent like 2 hours playing that, and it just so happens that me and my cousin had put in a catering order for Olive Garden to be picked up at 6. Well, we didn't finish playing all this stuff till around 8. As I was driving home, I realized to myself, bro, we did not go pick up that fucking Olive Garden order. So we tried to scramble and figure out what we're going to do. We was like, all right, we're going to head to Harris Teeter because on the website it said they was open. Well, we got there, they was closed. So we need a motherfucking Christmas miracle, baby. We need a Christmas miracle. Ain't shit open around here except for Waffle House. We got all the breakfast stuff, but it's looking real rough out there. Now, the Harris Teeter say they open at 6 in the morning. Now, I don't think that's going to be the truth because they just lied on the website once. It's nothing for them to lie again. But we're looking at a Christmas miracle right now. But this is when you know, this is like a movie. I've been telling my cousin this. We ain't really bothered by it because it's all about the vibes, baby. The vibes was high, so we ain't even let it bother us. But listen, I hope y'all got Christmas dinner planned out because we fucked up. It's not a bad thing, though. Well, it kind of is. We spent a lot of money on that. And see, now I'm wondering, is Olive Garden going? I don't know how this catering refund thing work. Either they giving me my fucking refund or they going to let us move that order down to a different day of the week when we can come get it, even though I don't really want Olive Garden after. This literally only happened because we needed something for Christmas. Now that it can't happen, I really just want my money back. So it's going to be crazy if I can't get my bread back. Cause that was $300. But, yeah, you know, the broke people problems. But, yeah, with that being said, your boy is in search of a Christmas motherfucking miracle. But I ain't tripping on it too heavy. Believe it or not. I ain't tripping. Your boy is not tripping on it too heavy, but we got a lot of football to talk about. Now, we're going to start off talking about this Monday night football game, okay? We're going to get through that real quick. The Rams got a win on Monday Night Football. Shout out to Puka Nacua. Shout out to my guys over there. But we so far past Monday, bro. Monday is tomorrow, so I can't go back that whole thing and talk about that. Saturday games. Cincinnati got plugged by Pittsburgh. And it basically eliminated both. It made sure that both teams ain't making the playoffs. So, you know, that's good news all around. Buffalo almost lost to LA. People wanted to see that bad. But Josh Allen, I'm going to get to something in a couple minutes. But my guy, Josh, my guy, got him down there to get the game-winning field goal. Oh, and Merry Christmas to my guys, bro. Abdi, Henry, I know your name, your tag is that damn dub, but that's that damn dude. You that damn dude. Abandoned Minds, even though I know your real name. And my guy, I don't want to say your name wrong. I really don't, but I might. And if I do, I sincerely apologize. Gianni, Merry Christmas to all of you fellas. You hear me? You enjoy Christmas. And that damn dude, Merry Christmas to your son also. And if you other guys got children, I hope y'all have an amazing Christmas, man. I hope y'all have an amazing Christmas. Merry Christmas. What's a Christmas song that we can sing? What's a Christmas song we can sing to really kick this show off, bro? What's I can't think of nothing, so let's move on. Anyways, let's get through these scores real quick. And because we're gonna talk about Dallas, Miami. You best believe we about to talk about Dallas, Miami. As a matter of fact, fuck them scores. I want to tell y'all, I was watching this game, right? Throughout the time of us playing these games and whatnot, because I had it on my phone and on the TV. It was so interesting. If you watch this game, most people are going to be like, oh man, this game was, such a competitive game, was a great play game. We saw two different games. It was competitive, but these two teams, what y'all say they are, what y'all expect out of them offensive wise, I just think it's very funny what they turn into when they play. And this was just a weird one because it's two teams that's good teams that don't beat good teams who I don't consider real great teams. So it was a real fucker of a game right there, a real mind fuck of a game, because neither the Dolphins nor the Cowboys beat actual contending teams. They don't beat great teams, but both teams are considered great teams. However, neither team felt like in this game they wanted to beat the other team. It was a weird game. You had to see it to understand it. And the stats going to say both quarterbacks played great, but Dak Prescott had a touchdown to CeeDee Lamb that was like a 6-yard pass that CD just took for like 40-something yards. So, like I said, you got to watch the games. Tyreek had a drop in this game that was crazy. This was a very I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. The first thing I thought after this game ended was neither one of these two teams is headed to the Super Bowl. I do not believe, and to be completely honest with you, it made me kind of pissed off at how weak the NFC is. Because while some people happy about the Lions clinching the playoff spot and all these other teams that's trying to make it, all I thought to myself was the path to the Super Bowl in the NFC is so far and away easier than what it is in the AFC. And I know I done talked about that in the recent couple weeks, but let me put in perspective for you. The Eagles are on a 3-game losing streak, right? You don't think that's a real contender. The Cowboys cannot beat legitimate teams. You don't think that's a real contender. The only team that you think is a great team is the 49ers. Every team, every analyst on TV keep telling you the Ravens is not the better than the 49ers, but they won't point out how the records, the teams that the Ravens have to beat on a regular basis. Look at the NFC, bro. This is what the 49ers have to get through to get to the playoffs. Literally, the only thing that's stopping the 49ers right now is health or some freak. Literally, is health. Because I don't even know if what is a bad game for the 49ers in the NFC right now? It's multiple teams who I could see stopping the 49ers. People keep saying the Ravens haven't played a team like the 49ers yet. The Ravens have to play against the Bengals 2 times a year, every year. And they have just as great a supporting cast and weaponry than the 49ers. They have better hands catching receivers than the 49ers. But sure, the Ravens have never played against a cast like the 49ers. The Chiefs used to have a great supporting cast. Like this notion that teams in the AFC, whether it be the Ravens, the 49ers, the Bengals with Joe Burrow, the Bills, when they go up and play against an Eagle, a Cowboy, or a 49ers team, like they haven't played some team like this before, that's just not true. The AFC contenders play against tough teams all the time. That's why they find ways to beat these tough teams, and that's why I don't panic when they don't. Because more than not, they do. But for some reason, we keep praying. And I praised the 49ers for a long time on this channel, but I know I'm on a streak right now of doubting them. And it's not even doubting them. I just call what I see. I haven't even told you that they're a bad team. I've not at any point in time questioned their greatness. But what they have to compete against compared to what AFC teams compete against is just night and day. It's night and day. And to me, this game was further proof of that. Because if the Dolphins can beat the Cowboys, a team that y'all think is either the second, third, or first best team in the NFC, what does that say? Because I know what the Dolphins record says, but if the playoffs happen, most people is not taking the Dolphins over the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens. You want to know why? Because that's 3 superstar game-changing quarterbacks at the helm compared to an offense that Tua been great in. But Tua done showed you over the last couple weeks, he is not those other 3 guys. I understand that Dak Prescott had a good game if you look at his numbers. But if you look at the game, he didn't play like he played against them bad teams that he played against in the NFC. It was a struggle for him. And Tua didn't play great, which is weird because Tua actually played in AFC teams, but I understand what Tua is at this point. But when you have to, and that's why I knew the Dolphins was going to end up winning this game, because the Dolphins done had to play. I understand the Dolphins haven't beat good teams this year. This is the first team they beat that was a good team, and I don't even believe in the Cowboys. But nonetheless, I knew they would win this game because I said to myself, which one of these 2 teams played a tougher schedule all the time? It's the Dolphins. They have to play against the tougher teams on a regular basis because they are an AFC team. Not only do they play in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills are in their division. The reality is it's been a down year for the Rams, the Cardinals. The Seahawks and the Rams both could make the playoffs. You don't think either of those two teams can beat the 49ers. And neither of those 2 teams are a double-digit win team. Neither of those teams can win double-digit games this season. And neither of those teams are anywhere near as good as the top-tier teams that you see in the AFC. On top of that, the Cowboys do have the Eagles in their division. Y'all was just telling me a couple minutes ago on TV shows that the Eagles is free falling. Now we having conversations about the Cowboys free falling. If you just listen to my show, I've been consistent on this all year. Nothing that happened has been shocking because I've been calling it exactly. I've been calling it the way it's happening because I was calling it ahead of time because I actually do my homework. I watch the games. I know what I'm seeing. I've been saying that the Cowboys not beating good teams. I've been saying that the Cowboys is a product of the talent over there in the NFC. But y'all think just because the 49ers beat teams worse, even though them and the Cowboys was spanking teams, the only difference is they spanked the Cowboys. And then y'all turn around and bitch about the teams in the AFC that's barely beating each other. But that's because it's the level of competition is so night and day. And that's exactly what I saw after the Cowboys lost this game. Because they had opportunities. CeeDee Lamb was great. You know what it is about the Cowboys? And I already told you that Dak not playing, raising his level of play when he played against the Josh Allens, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrows. That's one problem. You just lost to Tua Tagovailoa, bro. And that's no disrespect to Tua Tagovailoa. That's me saying we know Tua is not those guys. And I just said when you play Brock Purdy, your level of play don't raise. So that's a problem. Tua to me is like a lower level of a Brock Purdy at the moment. Or if you want to say they're on the same level, I could care less. They both have phenomenal supporting cast. The fact, to me, this is further proof that the Cowboys is not a big-time win for the 49ers or the Eagles. And to me, it's just the Eagles is free-falling more so than the Cowboys is what people think they are because they just lost to the exact same type of team that they lost to in the 49ers. They just lost they lost in a worse way to the 49ers because the 49ers got a better defense. And Brock Purdy, I think the head coach, they lost to the 49ers is the S tier level of what they just lost to. But they can't beat the A level of what. So to me, when it comes to the to the Cowboys, you can't beat the top tier quarterbacks. You can't beat the top tier offensive systems. Like Dak don't rate. Dak, you can say, oh, look at his numbers. He wasn't the problem. Watch the games. It's plays that's being left out there on the field, and you can point to different type of players and whatnot. This game was not just one play, two plays, one player. It was plays that was left out there on the field by both offenses, to be honest. And you might say, oh, well, they scored the points when it mattered. Yes, they did. And that's what talked about getting the stops when it mattered. That's absolute. But I'm talking about the overall game. I'm talking about just an individual performance. I'm not talking about why the Cowboys lost this. I'm talking about how a consistent, we have consistent evidence to show Dak Prescott does not raise his level of play against great quarterbacks or great teams. You take your pick. That's a problem. That is a major fucking problem. But people just walking around, yeah, oh, he the MVP, he the MVP. And I look like a hater when I'm saying, look at who he done played. And now that he getting into the tough part of the stretch of his games, lost to the Bills at home. Got spanked. Just lost to the Bills. Just lost to the Dolphins. Like, what y'all want me to do with that? What do you want me to do with that? Because the defense didn't play a bad game for Dallas. They didn't go out there and give up Miami's normal score. Dallas was held under their normal scoring on the road. So, and Dallas cannot run the ball. I've been saying it all season, but they can't run the ball, bro. This is why I said, I said it in the offseason. I didn't think that they would be a great run team behind Tony Pollard as the main running back if they was trying to put all the load on him, because I just don't think, from what I've seen from Tony Pollard, if he got the majority of the carries, I do not think he would be the same back. I was willing to be proven wrong about that, but I just felt like you was thrusting him into a spot to try to be cheap and not have to bring back Zeke on the contract that he was on, because you saw flashes of greatness from Tony Pollard. However, Zeke still had like 10 carries a game. That is big. Tony Pollard wasn't going out there getting 25 plus carries a game. The production you get when you getting like 15 carries or limited carries and you going crazy and throughout different moments, that's cool. But you got to know how to evaluate that based off of if we give him 10 more carries or all the carries. And so I'm not shocked that Dallas don't run the ball good. Plus, your offensive line is a good offensive line, but they're not the same offensive line that Dak had when he came into the league. Just not the same. Plus, I don't really like pointing out specifically when it comes to this type of thing. I have no problem defending quarterbacks when they don't have specific type of talent around them. Y'all know I don't mind doing that. I done defended Lamar and Josh Allen to the high heavens. And people get mad at when I defend Josh Allen because they like, bro, he got Stephon Diggs. And I'm like, yeah, but he had Stephon Diggs his second year in the league, I believe. They have gotten him nothing comparable to Stephon Diggs since. You want players to get better all the time, but it's not right for us to expect teams and organizations to remain consistent in helping you get better. Lamar Jackson, obviously, we know ain't had nothing close to a Pro Bowl level wideout, but people get mad when I say Pat Mahomes don't got weapons now because they be like, well, he had Tyreek Hill. Yes, but look at what the organization did, being cheap, and now look at him. But I understand all that. However, it's hard. The only times where I don't like really using those arguments or because clearly I'll do it. Dak Prescott done had weapons, bro. And his team did go cheap by getting rid of Amari Cooper. But they replaced him with CD. Kansas City haven't replaced Tyreek. Dak and those boys had CD before Amari left. Dak done had, it's like I said at the end of the playoff game last year, man. I don't really know what else you could give Dak that could get him over the hump at this point. At this point, you praying that your defense have some outer body experience season and that Dak just, every team in the NFC lay an egg. Because I just haven't seen Dak raise his level of play when it mattered the most. That's what really irritates me. And I had this conversation on a previous show, but this is really what pisses me off when I see people talk crazy about Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, or Josh Allen. Because I've seen those dudes go out there and win games that they shouldn't have won with less than talent. I done seen Pat Mahomes do it for the last 2 years, win big games without the comparable talent he should have around him. I done seen Stephon Diggs. I done seen Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson won a unanimous MVP and had been in the MVP conversation every year of his career when he healthy. Got the Ravens in first or second place in the AFC every year he healthy. His resume speak for itself, and he ain't had nothing close to an all-pro receiver. Zay, we pray and become that. And Josh Allen, like I said, we seen what he been given to work with. He ain't had a running game since he been in the league. Look at the games that these motherfuckers still win. Look at the games that they still have their players or their teams in. You judge them harshly because you like, well, these are supposed to be great players. They should be blowing this bad team out. And so you ignore the things that they got missing. Buffalo got so many injuries on the defense to key pieces right now. Lamar Jackson, every time they talk about the Ravens defense, not looking at his best player is out right now. That directly affects how he play out right now. People want to talk about stats and whatnot. Lost 2 running backs. His tight end lost his best tight end and his best receiver, period, and Mark Andrews. That had receivers dealing with injuries all year, but y'all want to talk to me about stats now. But if he was losing, Pat Mahomes I had to carry a Chiefs team all year. Where the defense starting to falter a little bit down the stretch now. They starting to look human. And Pat Mahomes still having to figure it out with a receiving core that's dropped more passes than any team in the NFL this year. But you complaining to me about a defense doing this or that when Dak got more than comparable weapons. He got more than enough on offense to be able to make big plays, to make the key drives that matter. And I understand they got that drive at the end, but it was a little too late because for one, you only went up by like a couple points. You didn't go up by enough to where they didn't have to just kick a field goal. Anytime where you go up by just enough to where it's not more than 3 points, that drive essentially does not matter because all you did was put it right back on the defense. You did your job in that moment, but that team can still walk down the field and give up a field goal. And the defense don't even really got to give them field goal range. If you got one of these kickers that's got an insane leg, they got to get to basically midfield and a couple yards past it and you can lose the game. So at what point in time is it expected for Dak Prescott to raise his level of play? Because I don't give passes to Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. If you watch the show, I know my guys know. I ain't giving them no pass. I'm harshly criticizing them, and I don't even like criticizing them because I know how great they are and how much better they are than Dak. And it's not just Dak. But look at what they have been given. Look at what Dak have to work with. CeeDee Lamb was basically non-existent. How do you continuously let defenses dictate what you do when you supposed to be that guy? You supposed to figure this shit out. And I understand playing against tough teams, struggling and whatnot. I get that. I understand when you played against a tough schedule and, eventually you're going to start to slow down. That's not Dallas, bro. I could say that's Miami before I could say Miami. That's what they be doing on that show. I could say that was Miami before I could say it was Dallas. So I'm not understanding. And I know, listen, Dallas fans, you can't be mad at me because I don't never go in on Dallas. But these is questions that have to be answered. They have to be. And to be quite frank with you, when I think about it, I've been letting Dallas fans off the hook for a while because I only address y'all like this. I only really go in on the critique after the result. I be letting y'all play it out. I be letting it play out to see what happened. And when ultimately it go exactly how I thought it would go in my brain, in my mind, that's when I say something. I never criticize y'all the journey. But really, the only reason Dallas popped up on my radar is because it's only 3 teams in the NFC that I believe in. Even though only one of those, well, I still have faith in Philly. The disrespect to Jalen Hurts over the last couple weeks is insane to me, bro. Insane. There's a lot of people with hateful hearts out there. Y'all want to know the most irritating shit I see on Twitter, bro? And I'm telling y'all, bro, when we blow up one day, we definitely hiring somebody to manage our Twitter, bro, because I can't do Twitter for too much longer, bro. Seeing people, bro, I saw a woman who put her son's head in cake for his birthday. Like, I know that's a tradition in some families and whatnot. I done seen it multiple times. The son started swinging on his mama and shit, bro. and a woman and a girl who probably was in like her late 20s, early 30s. She quote tweeted and was like, "We got to stop letting these parents provoke their children like this." What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Yo, this is, see, I gotta woosah right here, because this shit really do be getting me heated, bro. Like, this level of ignorance and stupidity really do be pissing me off, bro. So the way Twitter will have you, the way they talk is basically you should be letting your children be your best friends. You should let them do whatever the fuck they want to, say what they want, do what they want, treat people how they want, have whatever type of manners. It's no parenting and raising of a young adolescent anymore. That's not what's taking place. They want you to be on the same level of, you got to respect your child the way you would respect a grown adult and all that. Not understanding that me saying I don't respect my child like the way I respect adults is not the same thing. That's not the same thing. But these new gen or these new people or whatever these fuck you want to call these people, with these insane thoughts of this mother was provoking this reaction out of her child by doing something that she done probably done to every single one of her children, something that she probably had done to her as a child. And for some reason, her son now in 2023, this is now provoking your child. This is my problem. When 25,000 people like that shit, when we start allowing shit like this to take precedent on Twitter and have people convinced that that mother was the problem and not the child's reaction, that it's no longer a such thing as a parent's place and a child's place, because the child is not raising the parent, no matter how many of these struggling single broken mothers want to say, my child saved me. Honestly, he raised or she raised me. Bro, I'm not here for your sobbing sad stories, bro. Now, the beating thing, I'm indifferent on. If you beat your children, as long as you're not going to the level of abuse, I don't got no problem with people whooping their children. Do I whoop children? No. Would I whoop my child? I don't know. I'm saying no right now. But I'm not saying no as in, nah, I'll never whoop my child. No, I'm pretty sure it could be something. And that's another thing. They get mad at you for how you react to your child as if you're not human also. And what if you are a young mother trying to learn how to, or young parents trying to learn how to raise a child? You're going to have slip mistakes just like you know that child going to have. But for some reason, we judging adults because of that. This is what I'm saying, bro. I hate Twitter. I hate these motherfuckers on Twitter who be tweeting shit like this. The fact that they basically telling you to don't raise your child anymore. Let them do whatever the fuck they choose to do. I can't do it. I cannot do it. This is insanity to me. It's ignorance to me. Let's get into these games, ladies and gentlemen. New England and Denver won on a game-winning field goal. You remember when I said earlier in the season that Denver might be winning right now, but this offense ain't what people trying. Like I saw the conversation going around of, it ain't on Russ. It ain't on Russ. Give Russ his flowers. You was wrong. The media like to be loud and harsh on people and then try to immediately be like, oh, yeah, the fans was going crazy on Russ. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. But y'all remember I defended Russ all last season, even though I was still critical of Russ also, because it's a such thing as being critical of his game and not attacking him as a man, and feeling sympathy for a man who just going out there struggling at his job right now, depending on whatever the circumstances are, and being judged on all past type of things and his character being brought into question. That bothered me. However, I told you this year, yeah, he having a decent year, but he don't look like a top tier quarterback to me. He look like a system quarterback right now. And that's because of age, him not necessarily being the greatest pocket passer, and Sean Payton having an archaic ass fucking offensive system. Point blank period. Sean McVay's system is played to not lose the game. And as long as you got a system like Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, the Dolphins, Joe Burrow and that squad, you're not winning the Super Bowl in the AFC. That's why I don't even waste my time talking about Denver, because Sean Payton was never a great hire to me. I don't understand this love affair people have with Sean Payton. I don't understand why we completely ignore the last couple years of him in New Orleans, how he had more failures than successes, how he underachieved, not overachieved. But now you blame that on Drew Brees. You blame that on the roster. You blaming Russ now. It's never on Sean Payton. And that's crazy to me. The coaches that y'all love, y'all defend. But I'm the same way with Bill, with Tomlin, with every fucking coach I'm critical of. Everybody loved the Lions head coach Dan Campbell. I continue to say I don't understand what he do for his team. I'm consistent. And I've been very consistent when I've been talking about this motherfucker. I don't understand the greatness in Sean Payton lately, but he get paid a nice sum of money to go out there and be an average offense. And his specialty is offense. Oh, but saying they got him because, they wanted him to rebuild the culture. But what that culture looking like right now? Because do culture matter if you still losing? Oh, okay. I was just interested in that. I'm interested to see who go trade for Mac Jones in the offseason if that happens. Detroit ended up coming back to beat the Minnesota Vikings. And, Detroit, and I know if you're a Detroit fan, I know you're getting sick of me because I done said this shit every week. Detroit just show me every single week, man. They're not a great team. They're not a Super Bowl contending team. Right now, they are basically Dallas, benefiting off of the fact they play a lot of bad teams in the NFC, and they not even beating those bad teams the way Dallas beat them, which is why I know if they played Dallas, Dallas would beat them. Even though Dallas would probably struggle a little bit, Dallas would eventually win that game. I'll say it again. The 49ers cakewalk to the fucking championship should be documented. Indy went in there and laid an egg against Atlanta. They lose 10-29 in the battle of who is the better backup, Tyler Heineke or Garner Minshew. And Minshew Mania took a flop on this week. It was Tyler Heineke. Not wasting no more time on this game. Green Bay, the defense. Another fucking tragic one. 33-30 win in Carolina, but they let Carolina put up, I think, the most points Carolina done put up this year. Shit was crazy. Shout out to my guy Aaron Jones, though, man. He had 100 yards plus. Seattle had a comeback win in Tennessee. They win on a walk-off field goal. Geno Smith was back at the helm. They keep their playoff hopes alive. But like I done said multiple times throughout the last couple shows, do we really care about any of them lower ranked teams in the NFC? None of them motherfuckers is beating Seattle. None of them motherfuckers is beating San Fran. Cleveland was in Houston, and my guy, Joe Flacco, was slanging that shit. Joe Flacco was slanging that shit. I was seeing them have conversations about, is Joe Flacco, like, why did people was having basically little throwback conversations on Twitter about how the Ravens did Flacco wrong with never getting him real help after that Super Bowl win and whatnot. And I done said that on the show way too many times about how Flacco was done dirty in Baltimore, how they doing Lamar even worse. I've been had these conversations. You see how the world eventually come around to you? I know a broken clock is right 2 times a day, they say, but this ain't a broken clock. I'm still chirping. I'm still talking. You notice how eventually every point that I done made, basically, it comes around. I'm wearing a Christmas hat for y'all out there if you want some visuals. I'm wearing a Christmas hat, but there is no Christmas tree behind me. Now, if you had the vision that Saint probably sitting at like a computer desk with, a Christmas tree in the background, that is not the case. I am at a desk. I'm not really at the desk, though. I have the mic on a little stand close to me, and I'm really chilling. I'm legitimately kicking it in a chair, like in a, I wouldn't call it a gaming chair, but it reclines. But I wouldn't necessarily call it a recliner either. So, let your imagination take you where you want it to take you. But there is no Christmas tree behind me. Interesting thing, I got a Christmas tree in my car that I did not put up this year. It's been an interesting December. I was watching Nightcap, and Ocho Cinco said he buy a Christmas tree and put it up the day before Christmas because you get the Christmas tree for cheap. What the fuck? I ain't never heard no ignorant shit like that in my life, bruh. But that got Bro, Unc was like, bro, you might as well have bought it December 26th. It's real cheap then. I agree, bro. What kind of shit is that, man? You buy the Christmas tree. Who the fuck bought a Christmas tree a day before Christmas, bruh? That's super ignorant, bruh. That's super mega ignorant. Now, this is what's funny, bro. They was on the show the other night. They was talking about a list of the top people women say they won't date or people won't date. They got to number 11. They got to number 11. That motherfucking Shannon say, hey, look at it. They got number 11. Look at it. Prostitute. I was in tears, bro. He said, I'm trying to figure out why you date a prostitute. They don't want to date you anyway. I'm like, bro, that's a fact. A prostitute not trying to mess her hustle up, but maybe she trying to lead them streets. That shit was, I was in legitimate tears, bro. I don't know why that shit had me in tears the way it did. But when they had prostitute as number 11 of people you don't want to date, that shit had me in tears. Because for one, I was like, how is prostitute this low? So if you had to pick between somebody in the army or in the military compared to a prostitute, because somebody in the military was like number 3 or 2 on the list, you would not date them before you dated a prostitute because a prostitute was 11 on the list. That was wild. We move on, though. Oh, but first off, I want to talk about Joe Flacco. Hey, shout out to my guy, Cool Joe, man. Shout out to Amari Cooper also. Still balling. It just made me even more irritated that the Ravens chose not to go trade for him. And they keep watching Cleveland go out and trade for number 1 receivers. Jarvis Landry, Odell, Amari. They drafted Josh Gordon. You know, then you look over there at Cincinnati. They say we ain't going to trade or sign him. We just going to draft him. Boyd, Higgins, Chase. Lord only knows who they got now. Same for Pittsburgh. Plexico, even though they might have traded for Plexico, but I think they drafted Plexico. Plexico, Moss. I know they traded for Moss, I think. Ward. I hated Hans Ward. Mike Wallace. Or then you got Antonio Brown. It was somebody before Antonio Brown in that Mike Wallace one. What was Buddy's name? He played for the Broncos. He won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. I can't remember his name at the moment, but how am I forgetting? His name is I see his face. Emmanuel Sanders, I think was his name. Antonio Brown. Then they went to Chase Claypool for his one good year. You know, you had what's Buddy's name who was doing all the dancing? He on the Patriots now. He won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs last year. Man, how is this? And his face in my head now too, and I can't remember his name now. This is crazy. You know what all those teams have in common at the end of the day? A bunch of number 1 receivers, whether they draft or trade for them. I couldn't go down that list for you with the Ravens, but Saint bugging. Anyways, shout out to Joe Flacco having one of them big time games. You know, I told y'all that Kevin Stefanski was a good head coach. It's funny how that done came back around too. You know, because I've been said Kev Stefanski was a good coach. It was not him. It was Baker Mayfield. Coincidentally, Baker Mayfield, yeah, he playing that sorry ass NFC too. And they haven't beaten a good team yet this year either. But they just beat the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars, which was the first team that was an over 500 team and that they actually beat. So shout out to the sorry ass Jags, but I'm gonna get to them in a minute also. But shout out to the Kev Stefanski, because I said he was a good head coach and I said his offense clear. Bro, I know what Baker Mayfield is. So when he had that season that he had with Kevin Stefanski, I knew Kev Stefanski was a good coach, bro. And it was a couple other things. I'm at the point where I understand that certain analysts and fans and whatnot don't see the game and coaching the way I see it. That's why I come up with the conclusion. Like, I was having a conversation with somebody on Twitter today. He said he think the AFC North got 4 good head coaches. I don't agree. I do not think Zach Taylor is a good head coach. I say, what makes Zach Taylor a good head coach? He said Zach Taylor got the worst defense in football. I said, I don't agree with that. He said Zach Taylor don't have no talent on defense. I said, I don't agree with that. For one, he got two of the better pass rushers. Hendrickson, a lot of teams will pray to have a Hendrickson on their team, and Logan Wilson. That's two great pass rushers that complement each other very well. And I'm forgetting the other, you got DJ Reader in the front. That is a great run stopping defensive tackle. And I understand they done lost a lot of talent over the last couple years. And I understand the defense ain't what it was the previous couple years. But to give him 1 year of having a bad defense and trying to protect him off of that, to me, that's crazy because he had offensive-minded head coach. Lou Anarumo is the reason that defense done been great. And he the reason he getting as much out of it as he getting. But sure, let's give that credit to Zach Taylor. My next problem with him, what he said was he feel like Zach Taylor done kept his team afloat when they lost Joe Burrow. And I said, so if you think Zach Taylor is good now, did you think he was good before he got Joe Burrow? Because he had this talent, aside from Jamar Chase. He had T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Did not have a quarterback playing above their numbers, did not have a team playing above their talent. When he got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, even when he got Joe Burrow, it didn't change. When he got Jamar Chase, that's when it changed. Now, to be fair to him, Joe Burrow got hurt his first year. But it wasn't until he had the full fucking infinity gauntlet did his offense take off. And even then, his offense still struggles in the first half of games. What has he done, if you watch the Bengals play, to put his team in better position to win games? Because I see a team that's surviving off of talent. Joe Burrow throw a lot of short routes. And then when he get busy, that's off of his arm. That's off of the talent on his team. They making a lot of contested catches. So what is Zach Taylor doing to get more out of his team, to get more out of his star players? What is he doing to raise their level of play? See, it's looking like a real Ron Rivera type of situation to me. Meanwhile, before Kevin Stefanski had a superstar quarterback, and he still ain't got no superstar quarterback, I could see what he was doing for a team. Now, it get tough when your quarterback play gets so demonstratively bad, like a Deshaun Watson, how bad. Because I can make an argument. Deshaun Watson haven't played a single game since he done been a Brown that's better than the 3 games Joe Flacco done played as Brown, and he done thrown, like 5 interceptions in that span. And I can make an argument today, Joe Flacco's game today is better than any game Deshaun Watson done had in a Cleveland Brown uniform to this point. And you know what one making and you know what the other one making. So, and that's going to be a real interesting question to answer for the Cleveland Browns in the offseason. Why have we not gotten this out of Deshaun Watson yet, and Joe Flacco just popped off the couch a couple weeks ago? And he already looked like this in the offense? That's a tough one. Washington loses 28-30 against New York. The Jets, we moving on. Neither one of them teams is important. Jacksonville, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay wins 30-12 at home. Shout out to Tampa Bay. Let me talk to you, Jacksonville. See, this is my problem. Yeah, a couple things come up in this, actually. It's a couple things that I have a problem with. So, I said this a couple weeks ago, but I didn't expound on it. But I done said it in the past, but let me bring it back. I feel like white quarterbacks sometimes, if they not true to themselves, if they not authentic to themselves, they can get in this ignorant field where they do a lot of stuff that the media want them to do to paint them as the best guy in the world. Like, oh, this dude does that, so he's got to be the best guy in the world. And it put them in situations where they allow themselves to be holed out. Trevor Lawrence should have been sitting since that ankle injury. He should not have been playing since that injury. He should have at least took a week off. They keep trotting his ass out there. Now, I don't blame Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence didn't tell him no. You want to know why? Because Trevor Lawrence fights through everything. Trevor Lawrence is this, Trevor Lawrence is that. And they usually do it to the white quarterback. Now, you think this whole time I've been saying that as a hater of the white people. But now what do you feel now that I'm using it as a basically defense mechanism for Trevor Lawrence? The shit works both ways. Trevor Lawrence should never feel like I have to go out there for my team and it's more important than my body. Now, even outside of how they do the white quarterback, This is just a problem I have with the player. See, Trevor Lawrence got that thought because how they build up the white quarterback. But he also got this thing that we do to players where they got to be there for their team. Bro, this man's body is literally impaired right now. He cannot do what he want to do because of his body. And now it is clearly affecting the team. He hurt his shoulder this week. He was concussed last week. Why hasn't this man missed a game? We really care about players being Iron Men, that now his physical health and body is being impaired more than it should be because they won't just sit him. The playoffs can't be that important because if you building a dynasty with this kid, you want him for the next 10 plus years. What are you doing to extend his career right now, having him play this many weeks with injuries, just mounting now? And I know everybody playing with impairments right now. Trevor Lawrence is getting a new impairment every single week at this point. Not only that, he physically looked like he shouldn't be out there on the field. They did it with Joe Burrow in the beginning of the season. Look at how that ended up costing them eventually. And now look at Trevor Lawrence. This to me, this is franchise malpractice. Dead ass serious. And the NFL not going to look into this like, why have y'all not sat this kid after all this? But they should. Because this is what I mean when I say organizations run these players into the ground. But y'all never say shit about it. You want to know why? Because they get paid millions of dollars. Bro, y'all got to get this wickedness out y'all hearts, bro. Y'all got to get that shit out y'all hearts, bro. That's like me saying because y'all make millions of dollars doing whatever job y'all do, that they should be able to run y'all asses into the ground just because they pay y'all good. What kind of inhumane logic is that? And now Jacksonville is free falling. The beauty for Jacksonville is the Colts lost this week and Houston lost this week. So they found the perfect week to lay an egg, to go, even though they done lost 4 in a row. Obviously, we just talked about Dallas losing 20-22 to Miami. Arizona lost 16-27 to Chicago. Obviously, we do not care about that. Tomorrow's games: Las Vegas, KC. New York Giants take on Philly. And Baltimore is in San Fran. Y'all want to know another reason why I'm confident in Baltimore? Let me talk to you. I done seen Baltimore. It really got a lot to do with the fact that Baltimore done had to play Miami's offense, Cincinnati's offense. Now, I understand it's going to be a tall task stopping the San Francisco offense. But this is not a defense or a team that has not had to go out there and put up a lot of points and have to step up against superior offenses that you find superior to them. Y'all just don't watch the games and don't care about the games. And I'm talking about the media, because I saw Mike Florio have his little rant. I was finna say that FAG, couple other letters were, but I stopped myself. It was magical the way I did it. You couldn't even believe it. You should, because I didn't say the word. But I saw his little rant that he went on. If we win that game, oh, baby. See, this is my thing when I tell y'all these dudes don't watch the games. To go on an emotional rant like that, just tell me one of two things. Either you don't watch the games or you just don't like the players. You don't like Lamar Jackson because of his contract dispute still. And that is really sad at this point, to be completely honest with you. That's embarrassing at this point, if I had to be completely honest with you. But who am I? With that being said, though, Merry motherfucking Christmas, fellas. I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You could be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. I fucking love y'all, man. We had a phenomenal end to the year, and I truly do appreciate y'all, man. Have a phenomenal fucking Christmas. Have a phenomenal fucking Christmas. And I'll see you back here on Christmas night. I fuck with you. I love you. Salute. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking or something. You would think shawty ran track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.